Hello all, welcome to the session on rxdb. Okay, so let's start with the session. The agenda for this session will be we will be seeing just an intro and features, and going deep into it, we will handle it as a separate videos. I will be also putting a tutorial on this. Okay, first moving to the intro. So what is rxdb? rxdb, if you take, it is a reactive database. Okay. Uh, Basically, it is a reactive because normally, if you see a conventional database as MySQL or Oracle, you have to query it every time you want to see the latest data. But in this case of RxDB, the whenever the database changes, right? You are putting some find all data in heroes table. So whenever somebody inserted into this table or deleted this table, you will get the data as a event. Okay, so that's why it is called as reactive. So it reacts whenever the database changes. Okay, to receive the event, you have to subscribe. It follows a observable model. If you are familiar with RxJS, that's what it does. So whenever you want the data for a query, so it is basically reactive to queries. Okay, so the RxDB provides you observable. Okay, we will see in detail as we proceed on. So for a query, you can get the observable for that and subscribe to it. So whenever you subscribe to it, whenever something changes, some data gets added or deleted or updated, you will get an event from RxDB. That's why it is called as reactive. And it is best suited for UI based application, and it works for only JavaScript application, that you have to remember. And it can be used in websites, hybrid apps, electron apps, progressive web apps, and Node.js, where all you can use JavaScript. Okay. Another great thing about RxDB is, uh, in case of RxDB, it is not a database by itself. So based on the adapter, you can choose where the content of the database has to reside. By choosing different adapters, you can actually make it save it in file system or IndexedDB, and you can easily change it. So that flexibility is also provided by RxDB. Okay. So let's proceed on to the features provided by RxDB. The main features is real-time queries. That's what we saw. All the queries gives a observable. Okay. Based on once you subscribe to the observable, you can receive the latest event. So that is being triggered by RxDB whenever the content of the query changes. Okay, other thing is the use of adapters and multi-window and tab support and replication with the Couchdb and GrapQL models, which facilitates offline first, and encryption and key compression. So this algorithm, I think I made a mistake. So this does not come here. Okay. So let's see each one by one. So first, real-time queries. As I told you, the real-time queries. So here you see, right? You're seeing a query. So it is more NoSQL DB. The query looks similar to MongoDB. So that also you have to understand. So this what I'm doing a MongoDB. So in case of conventional database, you have to query this every time you want the latest data. But in case of RxDB, the RxDB provides you a observable. Okay, dot dollar provides you a observable. Once you subscribe to it, every time this query changes, the return of this query changes, the content, in this case the content of heroes table changes, it will be triggered as a event to you. So this will be called. Okay, so a event will be triggered by the RxDB database. That's what I have. Whatever happens, insert, update, delete happens to the database. If you have subscribed to that query, you will get the event. You will get the latest data out of the subscription as a event. You will get the latest subscription. Okay, data out for that query. Okay. The next thing is adapter. As I told you, RxDB is not a database by itself. Okay, so you can change the adapter you want, based on which it will save it accordingly. Maybe it will save it in a file system or IndexedDB. It is all based on adapter, and you can choose. Okay, the adapter you can choose based on the environment where you are having this application. Maybe in all environments you can use memory and memdown. So the memory, in the case of memory, it doesn't save the data persistently. It just saves it in the inside the JavaScript application. So once the JavaScript application dies, this data also will die. So this memory, in case of browser, you can use IndexedDB, which is present when you open the application. You will see the IndexedDB. Okay, so it saves the data in the IndexedDB when you provide this adapter. Okay, or WebSQL, which is deprecated, or you can also use WebSQL. In case of Node, you can use level down or node-websql. So if you give these types of adapter, it will save it as in a file system inside your server, because the node is a server side application, right? Server side application, so it will save it in the file system. In case of React Native, you can give all these three options. But in case of Node, you cannot give IndexedDB, because IndexedDB will not be available in Node. Okay, it is more of server side. The IndexedDB is available only in browser. Okay, so based on the application where you are, the environment you are running, you can choose the adapters. Okay, and this is being provided if you go to the site, right? rxdb.info. Here they have provided you what is the options to be used. In case of any environment, you can use memory and memdown. For browser, you can use IndexedDB or IndexedDB new. In case of Node.js, you can use Node or Node-SQL. So just you can use it. Just while creating the RxDB, you have to mention the adapter. That's the most important thing you have to follow. Okay. So each one of them will be seen in detail in the coming videos. Okay. So now coming to the most important topic, the leader election algorithm. Okay. So in case of normal ways, if you take normally, if you have multiple tabs, if you have the same application open, what will happen is each tab will have a remote access to the server. Okay, and this is actually a waste of the client side resources, because every tab will create a socket connection to the server. But this has been in case of RxDB, this has been controlled. In case of RxDB, how it controls is by making use of leader election algorithm. So how it happens in case of RxDB is, uh, if you have multiple tabs open for the same application, one tab will be elected as a leader, and that leader only will control the remote access to the server. And other tabs, okay, since they are pointing to the same RxDB, what will happen once this leader makes a remote access and updates the RxDB, since the other tabs are pointing to the same data RxDB database, the data from the RxDB will be broadcasted to other tabs. Okay, by broadcast channel module. Okay, so in this case what is saved is the client side resources. Only one tab, being the leader, will do all the remote access, and the other tabs just will receive the broadcast from the RxDB, and it will update. Okay, so I have just tried to explain it with a diagram. So if you take, there are two tabs, tab 1 and tab 2, open in your browser, and the tab 1 only will do the server side access. Okay, and once it receives the latest data from the server, okay, it will update the DB. In this case, it is index DB. So once the update happens in the index DB, the changes are being broadcasted to all the tabs through broadcast channel model, because these tabs would have subscribed to the same RxDB which is available in the browser, and the value gets updated automatically with one tab only doing all the remote access. So this is about the leader election algorithm which is being used in case of RxDB. So you have to just give the control to RxDB. This will happen automatically for you, okay, in your application. The next thing is replication. So many would have heard about offline first. So suddenly your client is seeing data in your website, suddenly the net goes off. So what should happen is it should all get saved in the client side in the browser, and once the online the net comes up, the network comes up, this should update in the server side also. So this happens easily in case of RxDB, because by using the my collection.sync you can easily update. You have to just give the remote URL, okay, and this will update the Couchdb or GrapQL endpoint, okay, by just giving the remote URL. And you can also provide the query what needs to be updated. If you want to just update the specific data in your server, that can also be done by giving the query. Okay, this is about easy replication in the server side, which has complaint couchdb or GraphQL endpoint. Okay, the other most important thing is encryption. But because in many cases, in case of password, you want the data to be saved in the browser side, client side, to be encrypted. Okay, you don't want anyone to see the data. So in that case, you can specify in the schema when you create the collection, you can provide in the schema which will be used for creating the collection. You can mention that I want this particular field to be encrypted, so it will be encrypted. Okay, and that is also a provision for getting the decrypted data in the application. There is an option called get dollar, so it will fetch it, okay, encrypt it, decrypt it, and show it to the application. So that is also available. Next important thing is key compression. So in many cases, in your browser, you may be saving a huge amount of documents. Okay, to save the disk space, the RxDB also provides compression. Just by giving key compression to true, RxDB will help you to save lot of data. In the schema of for creating the collection, you can just in the root you can mention key compression to true. It will make the data will be saved in the browser. Okay, based on your adapter what you have given, all data will be saved in a compressed manner. So to facilitate saving the disk space. Okay, so these are the features we wanted to see for in case of RxDB. Okay, so we will move in detail in the coming videos. I will be also adding a tutorial for this. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.